Yes, good day, class. I welcome you again to our revision of today's segment, paper 1, 2022, November. Like I've said to you, we are going to revise all the past papers from the last paper of 2024, the preparatory paper up to 2016-17 there. All of them we are going to cover and revise them here before we write each of our exams or paper 1 and 2 this year, final exams. So please just keep connected. You shall see that all these papers, we are going to revise them and we will never go wrong. So without wasting any time, we are just going to go through our paper uh, of today. Like I said, it's November 2022. So paper 1. So let's just go through our paper. The instructions, I've been reading them through every paper that we are going through. I always remind you that you read and follow instructions per paper, please. And most importantly, you need to understand that each question might have its own instructions. So please follow the instructions as they are given, such that you don't lose any unnecessary marks. So some of the instructions are just uniform and standard, but I recommend that you follow and read them as always is necessary. Question 1 is various options are provided as possible answers to the following questions. Choose the answer and write only the letter A to D next to the question numbers that are given there. So, like I said, today again, I'm going to be moving very fast. I want to make the revision segment very short, so therefore it won't waste your data and time again. So, I would always be following and referring you to the channel on various notes and presentations that were already done there. So, which of the following maintains the shape of the eyeball? Which of the following maintains the shape of the eyeball? The shape of the number 1.1.1, we are saying which of the following maintains the shape of the eyeball? It is the vitreous humor, which is C. So our answer is C. The vitreous humor maintains the shape of the eyeball. Please note that I also said that on our presentation there is the presentation regarding the eye, and it is well presented and giving the functions of each of the various parts of the eye. Number 1.2, is the choroid is dash. What is the choroid doing? The choroid is richly supplied with blood vessels. It is richly supplied with blood vessels, which is correct to say that A is the right answer. It is richly supplied with blood vessels. The choroid is richly supplied with blood vessels. Our answer is what? Is A, is richly supplied with blood vessels. Which of the following occurs immediately after fertilization? I'm sure we understand that fertilization is the fusion of the male and female sex cells, and there it takes place in the what? In the fallopian tube. See? And again, these are the stages. Sometimes it comes also. I look on the question on reproduction revision notes. Reproduction revision notes there. It is also answered this question about fertile or reproduction, which it is also asked about there's various processes that takes place from fertilization to implantation. So please just refer to this. So after which of the following occurs immediately after fertilization? Immediately after fertilization, what happens is that the marula, which is a solid ball of cells, is formed by mitosis. Which is a marula, which is a solid ball of cells, is formed by mitosis, which is letter D, number 3, which is D. So I'm saying this question is also revised well and thoroughly on reproduction and revision questions on the channel. Refer to the that content. On a hot day, what happens on a hot day? This is thermoregulation. Thermoregulation. What happens on a hot day? More blood must flow on the surface of the skin. On a hot day, more blood must flow on the surface of the skin. So therefore, heat is lost from the what? From heat is lost through evaporation, latent heat of vaporization taking place there. So the answer is that on a hot day, more blood flows on the surface of the skin, which is correct. More blood flows on the surface of the skin to allow heat to be lost to the into the environment through what? Through radiation. Evaporation is taking place and so forth. So what we are saying is that on a hot day, temperature must be cooled down because of the loss of heat from the blood or from the body through evaporation. So it is more blood flows on the surface of the skin. Unlike on a cold day, it has to maintain the temperature, hence more blood will flow. I mean, less blood will flow on the surface of the skin on a cold day. A should be correct if it was a cold day. And then 1.5, the normal site of fertilization in human female is the fallopian tubes. Fertilization takes place in the fallopian tubes, class. Fertilization takes place in the fallopian tubes, which is D. We are saying the normal site of fertilization in a human female is the fallopian tubes. It is the normal site which it is where fertilization must take place. It takes place in the fallopian tubes. Next question. In which of the following best describes the events of accommodation when a person is viewing an object that is less than 6 meters away? Which of the following describes the events which are of accommodation when a person is viewing an object that is less than 6 meters away? So when you are viewing an object that is less than 6 meters away, what must happen is that the ciliary muscles, the suspensor muscles, the suspensor ligaments and the tension ligaments, there are some specific responses that they should do. So the ciliary muscle, it must when you are viewing that is nearsightedness or near vision. So we are saying in that regard, number 1.6, it should be the ciliary muscle. It must contract. And then the suspensor ligaments. They also slacken. And then the tension of the lens, it decreases, which is to say that the answer should be what? Should be B. Our answer should be B on our near vision with regard to what? To accommodation. The ciliary muscle, it contracts, and then the suspensor ligaments, they slacken. They don't pull up, they don't pull, they are not stretched. So what we are saying is that they slacken, and also the tension of the lens is also what? The tension of the lens decreases. That is what is happening with regard to near vision in question 1.1.6. So it is those points that are seen there. If you can see, please refer again. This question, it is similar to our what is it? Our preparatory exam, where they asked you to draw the parts that are involved in what? The parts that are involved in accommodation, or the parts that are involved, or the parts that are involved in accommodation and stuff. If you refer again, if you can refer back to paper 1 of preparatory paper, you would see this question was just the same, but just that now it came as a diagram in this preparatory paper, but you just need to know that it is the same question. Question 1.7.80 based on the diagram of a neuron that is below here. This is a neuron. The axon is represented by structure dash. Which one represents the axon? The axon, it is represented by structure dash. I'm saying this diagram again, refer to the notes. I have a question where the structure of the neuron has been explained. So please refer again to it, and then we can be able to get more detail to that. With regard to this one, what is the structure of the neuron? Which one represents the what? Which one represents the axon? The axon is represented by what? By letter 4, which we are saying that it runs from the what? From the dendrites to the synaptic knobs there, which is the relay pathway, which is this one. The relay pathway running from all the way up to that side. It is the what is the oxon. So the oxon is what is 4. 4 represents the oxon. 4 represents the oxon, which is what? Which is D. D is the letter that represents, is the number that represents the oxon. Which labeled part affects the speed of the impulse transmission? Which letter represents the which part affects the speed of the impulse transmission? Speed of impulse transmission. Part that affects the speed of impulse transmission is what? Number 8. You see, the movement of the impulse, it is affected by what? By the Meyerline sheath, which actually insulates the what? The neuron, which insulates the oxon. So we are saying this question, the answer should be what? Should be 3, which is actually the what? The Meyerline sheath, which is supposed to be representing that one. So the part that affects the speed of the impulse is the Meyerline sheath, which is C, and then it is C, which is representing the what? C, which we said 3. The Meyerline sheath is the one that represents the what? That represent the part that affect the movement of the impulse. Our next question. It is question 1.1.9 to 1.1.10 refer to the diagram below that shows an investigation done to determine effect of oxons on tropism. Refer again to our notes on the channel on what? On plant response to the environment. It is there. Channel, it also has enough content on this one. Please refer to the channel with regard to the tropisms and stuff. The tendency of a plant part to grow towards or off a certain stimulus is what we call tropism. So let's see the question. The procedure was as follows. A pot plant was placed on a stationary clonot. The plant was exposed to light from all directions, and the growth was then observed after a few days. The diagram below shows the setup of the investigation, which is this one. The results after a few days showed the stem growing upwards. The results after a few days, they show the stem growing upwards. Which of the following is an explanation of these results? What is the reason for this one? After some few days, the plant was seen growing what? Upwards. Which of the following can explain this? 1. Phototropism occurred because the oxygen moved downwards, towards light, which inhibited growth on the lower side of the stem. Not necessarily like that. Geotropism occurred because the oxygens moved downwards, which stimulated growth of the lower side of the stem. The phototropism occurred because the oxygens moved away from the light, which stimulated growth of the upper side of the stem. Geotropism occurred because the oxygens moved upwards. And then in regard to this, the question is that the correct explanation should be what? Should be B, which we are saying that geotropism occurred because oxygen moved downwards, which stimulated growth of the lower side of the what? Of the stem. So number 1.1.9, we can say B can be the right answer with regard to this investigation. As you have seen that the pot was placed on a clonostat and was exposed to light from all directions. It was exposed to light on all directions. So with that regard, we are saying what happened is that geotropism occurred geotropism occurred, and then it was what? It caused a control for the same investigation was set up by putting an identical pot plant on a rotating clonostat. Which of the following would be the expected results observed after a few days? If the same, we are saying the same investigation was set up by putting an identical pot plant on a rotating clonostat. Which of the following would be the expected results observed after a few days? So with this, what would be expected is that after a few days, if this was placed on a rotating clonostat, the stem will grow the stem will grow horizontally. That is true to say that we should always understand. I'm sure that if you refer to another question that I answered with regard to the effect of the rotating clonostat, it would make the stem to grow horizontally, which is D. Number 10, the stem will grow horizontally. It will grow horizontally because of the effect of the what? Of the rotating clonostat. And then we can go to the next question. We need to give the biological term of each of the following descriptions. Write only the term next to the question number. As I have already said before, to say that you don't write anything, you write the question number and the answer straight away. So question 2.1.1, the part of the skull that protects the brain is what? Is the cranium. The cranium is the one that protects the what? Is the one that protects the brain. The homeostatic process whereby temperature is controlled in the body. I'm sure we remember and we know very well that this is what thermoregulation is. Thermoregulation is the process whereby body temperature is regulated. Thermo is thermoregulation. And again, the visual defects characterized by cloud lensing, visual defects that is characterized by cloud lensing. It is what? It is cataracts. It is cataracts. Cataracts is a visual defect that is characterized by cloud lensing. And then the blood vessel that transports deoxygenated blood from the fetus towards the placenta. If you can check again that question, this question was there in our preparatory paper, whereby you were supposed to give a comparative analysis or difference between umbilical vein and umbilical artery. So what we are supposed to understand is that the one which the blood vessel on the umbilical cord, there is a umbilical vein and umbilical artery. So what is happening is here that the blood vessel that transport deoxygenated blood from the fetus towards the placenta. From the fetus towards the placenta, we are saying it is deoxygenated blood which is carried by what? By the umbilical what? By the umbilical artery. It is the umbilical artery. Umbilical artery. I'm saying just refer, guys, and try to understand that these questions, they are always a repetition. Previously, it was something else. Right now, they are giving us just like this, but I'm saying there was a question in November in preparatory paper, which we were supposed to explain about the difference between the two. So take note of this again. Obviously, the opposite of oxygenated blood is carried by the umbilical vein. Umbilical vein carries the oxygenated blood, but deoxygenated is what? The umbilical artery. So in that regard, you can see that these are the comparative differences that you could also add in that respect. The part of the brain that controls body temperature, the part of the brain that controls body temperature, number 1.2.5, it is the what? It is the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus is part of the brain that controls body temperature. A branch of the nervous system that is made up of spinal and cranial nerves. A branch of the nervous system that is the branch of the nervous system that is made up of spinal and cranial nerves. We call that what? It is the peripheral nervous system. It's the peripheral nervous system. The peripheral nervous system. The peripheral nervous system is part of the nervous system that is made up by the spinal and cranial nerves. Obviously, the opposite of peripheral is what is the central nervous system. The opposite of it is what is the central nervous system. Finger-like projections that develop from the outer membrane of an embryo after implantation. We call that the chronic villus, number 2.1.7. The chronic villus. Just write it nicely there. Chronic villus is the finger-like projection that develop outside the membrane of after implantation. The hormone that regulates the salt levels in the blood, number 2.1.2.7, the hormone that regulates salt levels in the blood, it is the aldosterone. Aldosterone hormone is the one that is responsible for that. And then the fluid that protects the developing fetus against mechanical injuries, it is the amniotic fluid, number 1.2.9. Amniotic, it is amniotic fluid. You see again that last time it was in preparatory, it was asked to give the functions of it, that it is a shock absorber, it is avoiding dehydration, it is for the testing of congenital defects as functions of it. But here I'm just saying you need to understand and relate as well. The area of the retina that contains the highest concentration of cones, it was again there in our preparatory paper. This paper again, this question was also there in our preparatory September paper there. The area of the retina that contains the highest concentration of cones, it is the what? It is the what? The fovea. It is called the fovea. Fovea, they call it fovea centralis, or they call it what? The yellow spot. Or it is called the yellow spot. It is part of the retina that contains the highest concentration of cones, which is the part of the one that allows or that controls vision. Number 1.1.3, a plant hormone that inhibits the germination of seeds. Which plant hormone inhibits the germination of seeds? Please check again on plant growth hormones on the channel. There is a presentation that is all explained there. A plant growth hormone that inhibits, which means to prevent the germination of seeds. It is the what? It is the abscisic acid, which is B only. B only. And then the functional connection between the two consecutive neuron, the functional connection between two consecutive neurons, it is called the what? It is called the synapse. It is called the synapse, which is A only. And then a hormone that stimulates puberty. A hormone that stimulates puberty, it is what? Both of them, the testosterone and estrogen, both A Both A and B are correct in this regard. A hormone that stimulates puberty, it is testosterone and also estrogen, which is both A and B. Our next question. Our next question. Question 1.4.1. It is the diagram that is actually below showing conditions of eyes for different light intensities when viewing the same object. There are same light, there are same the conditions of the eyes for different light intensities when viewing the same object. So uh, we are here now to say that give the letter and name of the eye. Name letter and name of the part that contains muscles. That contains muscles. Give the letter and name of the part that contains muscles. First question. So which one contains letter and name of the part that contains muscles? So muscles are contained in what? Letter and name. So that is letter B. B, it actually shows the muscles of the eye. B actually shows the muscle of the eye. B is the correct answer, which is the what? Which is the iris. And then is made up of tough white, is made part, letter and name of the part that is made up of tough white fibrous tissue. It is what? Tough, letter of the party, letter and name of the party that is made up of tough white fibrous part tissue. B, we are saying number question 1.4.1b. What is it, that one? We are saying that is supposed to be the sclera, which is A. It is A, which is the what? The sclera. It contains the what? The is made up of tough white fibrous tissue. The sclera there is very correct. And then next question is saying, next question is want us to say which diagrams represent the eye of a person in a very bright light, in a very bright light, in a very bright light. You know what happens is that we have to look on the size of the pupil. The size of the pupil, it has to change with regard to the size of light that the person, or the amount of light that the light the light is exposed to. So number 1.4.2, which diagrams 1, 2, 3 represent the person of the eye of a person in a very bright area. A person who is in a very bright area should be in a very bright area should be what? Should be A. Should be diagram what? Question 1, A. The diagram should be what? It should be 2, which should be this one. Is a very bright area, this one. Bright area. Because we are considering the size of the what? The size of the pupil. And then next question is saying the way the rods are stimulated the most. Which diagram represents the eye of a person where the rods are stimulated the most? Where the rods are stimulated the most, it is what? Diagram which is in diagram what? Where there is less light. Remember, I'm saying where the rods are stimulated the most, it is diagram which is diagram 3. Question is diagram 3. Rods, we're saying Rods are stimulated the most. Rods are stimulated the most. Diagram 3. As you can see there. We have got our next question. Which muscles? Number question 1.4.3. 1.4.3. Which muscles are contracted in diagram 2? In diagram 2, which muscles are contracted? In diagram 2, which muscles are contracted? It is the what? It is the circular muscles. Circular muscles contracted in diagram 2. We are seeing in diagram 2, this diagram 2 here, which muscles are contracted. Diagram 2, it is the circular muscles. The circular muscles contracted, relaxed in diagram 3. Which muscles have relaxed also? You can see again in diagram 3, which muscles have been relaxed. Which muscles are relaxed in diagram 3? Which is diagram 3 is what? Our diagram 3 is that one. Which muscles are relaxed? Which muscles are relaxed? In diagram 3, it is also the what? The circular muscles, which we can see there. The circular muscles have been what? Are relaxed. The circular muscles are relaxed. It is the circular muscles that are relaxed. And this diagram here, we are saying we can see that that's what is happening in each of those different diagrams that are shown above here. Next question. Question 1.5.1 is the diagram below represent the interaction between two endocrine glands. This chapter, again, I've seen quite a lot of times students, you have got some kind of difficulties, but again, just try to master and get this thing right, because some of them, they are quite a repetition, and they are quite not confusing as much as you might sound, as it might sound. But just look at this diagram here. We want to look at the interaction between two endocrine glands. There is the pituitary gland there, and then there is hormone C, there is hormone A, and there is gland B, which is there. So our question is saying what? Let's just name the type of interaction that occurs between hormone A and B. Name the type of interaction that occurs between hormone A and B. Hormone A and B. You see, what is happening here is what you call, this interaction here is what is negative. This is negative feedback. I'm sure that class you remember the issue of negative feedback. When we are in hormones, their interaction is controlled or is regulated through negative feedback. Is the only thing that can control the interaction of what? Negative feedback. If ever we are talking about hormones, they can always interact through what? Through negative feedback class. Negative feedback mechanism is the one that controls the interaction of hormones when we are into endocrine system. Negative feedback. And then the next question is saying identify gland B. Gland B, as you can see there, we are saying what is gland B? Is the what? Which is on the trachea. I had a question again which I posted, which also identifies this, to say gland B on the trachea. There is nothing else. One gland that is found on the trachea is the what? Is the thyroid gland. It is the thyroid gland. thyroid gland is the one that is found on there. And then next question is saying, identify hormone A. Hormone A, which is there, which is coming there, it is the what? The hormone A that is, we are saying, is secreted there, which is supposed to affect or cause negative feedback in terms of the stimulation of the thyroid gland is the what? Is the TSH, which is thyroid stimulating hormone. It is the thyroid stimulating hormone, which is thyroid stimulating hormone. And then hormone C, obviously, which is produced there, is the what? Is the thyroxine. Thyroxine hormone is the one that is produced there. So this is what? Thyroxine hormone. Is the thyroxine hormone here. Is the thyroxine hormone, which is hormone C there. Thyroxine hormone, which is produced from the thyroid gland. Hence, it is the thyroxine hormone that is produced there. And then it is also affecting the release of what? Of the thyroid stimulating hormone, which can also to need to be produced when it comes to this side, which is what? The hormone A, thyroid stimulating hormone. I told you that this is thyroid stimulating hormone, TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone. And then name the disorder that results when gland B is overstimulated and becomes enlarged. This when gland B is overstimulated, it results in what? It results in a condition which is called what? Goiter. Goiter is the condition that results is the disorder that results in this case the swelling of the what? Of the neck. And then which hormone A or C will be expected to be high in the blood of the person with the disorder named in the what? In this person. It is supposed to be hormone what? It is supposed to be hormone A, because hormone A is the one that stimulates the gland. So it is hormone A is the one that should be high in the blood, which is the what? The thyroid stimulating hormone is the one that must be high. So as you can see, I'm sure that you can really see and make sense of this diagram, of which that is what is mostly common in our exam. And please take note of every tip and bit of information that you are seeing here to avoid missing unnecessary marks. Section A must be totalized. Thank you very much. Let's go to the next part B of the question. The diagram below represents the human male reproductive system. This is the male reproductive system that is shown there. And then identify structure A. Identify structure A. If you can see, I was always saying again that these questions, the reproductive systems, you cannot go to any exam of paper 1 of life science grade 12 without mastering the reproductive system. It is always gonna be there, whether a male or a female or both of them or the sex cells can be there. So just take note that these are some of the commonest things that you should take note of. So structure A is the what? Is the seminal vesicule. A is the seminal vesicule. It's the seminal vascular, this one. A is the seminal vascular, as you can see there. State one function of part D in the reproduction. Part D, which is the test. What is it? Okay, part D is the urethra. What is the function of the urethra? State one function of part D in the reproduction. It actually transport, or it is a passage for what? For the semen and urine outside the body. Part D, it is a passage for transportation of semen and urine outside the body. That is the urethra, actually, that is the function there. It carries semen, it transports urine also outside the body. Give two reasons why structure B is not considered to be an endocrine gland. Structure B, why is it structure B? This one. Give reasons uh, why structure B is it is not considered to be an endocrine gland, because it is actually, it transports its secretions in ducts, as you can see there. Part B, it transports its secretions in ducts. It is because this question 2.1.3, because it transports its secretions in what? In ducts, which is not that is why it is not considered to be an endocrine gland. Or we can say secretions not directly in the what? In the blood. It does not produce its secretions directly into the blood. Secretions are not directly carried in the blood, which is also a function or a characteristic of what? Of endocrine glands. Endocrine glands, they are ductless. The secretions are deposited into the blood and then they are transported to their target organs in the what? In the blood. That is what exactly is the endocrine glands actions. That's how endocrine glands perform their functions. And then name the type of gametogenesis that occurs in part C. The type of gametogenesis, because you see part C, the type of gametogenesis that occurs in part C, this one, it is what? It is spermatogenesis, because as you can see, we are in the male reproductive system. So it is what? It is spermatogenesis that is going to take place in there. It is spermatogenesis that is going to take place there. Spermatogenesis is the right answer, class. Spermatogenesis, because we are saying, so as a result of a male reproductive system. If it was a female, it was going to be what? Oogenesis, but this is a male, hence it is spermatogenesis. And then explain how the secretions are, explain how the secretions of structure A and B, structure A and B improve the what? The chances of fertilization. How the secretions of structure A and B improve what? Improve the chances of fertilization. Structure A and B. Structure A and B, we are saying we said that one is that we said it is the what? Is the seminal vascule. And then we are saying what is happening here is that what happens with the prostate gland and what in the seminal vascule. The secretions of the seminal vascule and also of what? Of prostate gland. So the question wants us to give to say how their secretions, the secretions of the seminal vascule and also prostate gland improve the chance of fertilization. So one, the secretions is alkaline to neutralize the acidity of the what? One, it is alkaline to neutralize the acidity conditions in the vagina. We are saying it is alkaline to neutralize the acidic conditions in the vagina, and also even the vagina or urethra, just to ensure that the sperms can survive. That is one good function, that it ensures the survival of the sperm cells. It also contains nutrients. We are saying the secretions contains nutrients for the sperm cell to generate energy for movement. Secretions contains nutrients. They contains nutrients that are needed, nutrients for the sperm, for the movement of the sperm cell. The secretions contains nutrients for the movement of sperm cell. That is very important again. They provide energy for the movement of the sperm cell, and also the secretion is also number 3. The secretions the secretions is fluid and mucus, which facilitate the movement of the sperm cells also. That is also a very good answer to say it is fluid and mucus, also to facilitate the movement of the sperm cells again. To facilitate the movement of the sperm cells as well. That is also a very good answer to take note of. You understand? We go to next question. Our next question, it is diagram below shows the structures of a normal and abnormal sperms. The diagrams are drawn not to scale. There is a normal and abnormal sperm cells there. Normal and abnormal, you should take note of them. Normal and abnormal sperm cells that are there. So from the look of things, obviously we can say this is a normal one, and then this is abnormal. This is abnormal. The abnormal one we can see because of the what? The type of the head. It is also, there is no acrosome and whatsoever. You can see there is the sperm cell, which is the diagram 2, is actually abnormal, as you can see, because of the absence of the structures that we are referring into that. And then the question is saying identify part A. Identify part A. Part A, this part A is the acrosome. You should always know that the tip of the sperm cell has got an acrosome. The acrosome is found on the tip of the sperm cell, which has got the function of dissolving the egg membrane. So it is the acrosome. And then describe the role of structure B during fertilization. the role of structure B during fertilization, uh, it actually fuses with the nucleus of the ovum, and then the role of structure B, which is this one, which is containing the nucleus. So what we are saying is the role in terms of this one, the role is that one, it contains the genetic material, it contains paternal genetic information which fuses with the female egg. It actually contains the paternal genetic information which is haploid anyway, that it fuses with the what, with the female egg. It contains the haploid genetic information which fuses with the what, which fuses with the egg, with the female egg there. That is one key function there. And then explain the role of the organelles found in, and explain the role of the organelles found in large numbers in part C, that are found in large numbers, that is in the mitochondria. In the mitochondrion, what is the role of them in the mitochondrion part C? What we are saying is that this function, these ones, they actually have to do with what they are responsible for. We need to understand that they actually provide the what, they are actually important in the what, they provide the energy which is necessary for the site of cellular respiration, which is needed for the movement of the sperm cells. Number 2.13, they produce energy. They produce energy, or actually is a site, or is a site for cellular respiration. It's a site for cellular respiration which is needed for the sperm cell, which is needed actually which is needed for the movement of the sperm cell. It is needed for the movement of the sperm cell. So it produces energy, or it is a site for cellular respiration, which is needed for the what? Which is needed for the movement of the sperm cell. That is quite a good answer that you can give with regard to that, which you can give with regard to what is being asked here, which is needed for the movement of the sperm cell. Number 2.24, 2.24, explain two reasons why sperm 1 is structurally better suited for fertilization than what? Than sperm 2. Like we said sperm 1 is normal. Why do we say that it is normal, or is better suited for fertilization than what? Than sperm 2. So one, we are saying sperm 1, sperm 1, our sperm 1 there, what does it do? It actually has it has got an oval shaped head, oval-shaped head, oval-shaped head, which we are saying which facilitate faster movement. Which facilitate faster movement. That can also be corrected. And then we are saying it is better suited because it has got the shape which is oval-shaped head, which facilitate faster movement, as you can see. And then again, there is also the acrosome, part A, presence of acrosome again. Presence of acrosome, which is given as A there, facilitate fertilization. Facilitate fertilization. It facilitates fertilization, that acrosome there. It facilitates fertilization. That is correct. And then we are able to say again that sperm one, as you can see there, it has got the what? It has got a very large tail again. You can see sperm one has got a tail from here. We are saying the tail starts from here up to all the way up to there. So it has got a very large tail. Yes, a very large tail. There's a very large tail that ensures, uh, which ensures faster movement as well. Which ensures faster movement. Which ensures faster movement. That is quite important in that respect again. Uh, let's go to the next question. Next question. So we are saying these are the reasons why sperm 1 is suited for fertilization class. This point that I've listed here, presence of the acrosome to facilitate fertilization, large tail which ensures faster movement, and also an oval-shaped head which also facilitates movement. All the answers are just to do with what? With the efficiency of fertilization that must take place. You understand? So 2.3, the graph below shows the levels of two hormones that are secreted by the pituitary gland during the menstrual cycle. The hormones that are secreted during a menstrual cycle. We are saying hormone B there, hormone A, and then we are given that these hormones, levels of hormones during menstrual cycle over 28 days, and then time in days that is given there. State two functions of hormone B, which is, let's see, it picks up at day 14. It picks up towards day 14 there, and then it goes maximum on day 14 actually. It picks up from day 10 up and then maximum day 14, and then it lowers down again. So hormone B, what is the function? One, we can say that it stimulates ovulation, which is obviously is the what? Is the luteinizing hormone. It stimulates ovulation. That is one answer there. And then at the same time, stimulates also the development of corpus luteum. corpus luteum is also produced as a reason of hormone B. Hormones B, we are saying LH, the functions, it is there to actually ensure that ovulation occurs and also development of corpus luteum. Next question is saying, explain why female who is struggling to get pregnant may be given pills containing hormone A. Explain why a female who is struggling to get pregnant may be given pills containing hormone A as a treatment. One, we are saying this hormone A, it is what is it's a follicle stimulating hormone. I mean, it is what is it? Follicle stimulating hormone. So women who are struggling with women who are struggling, or female who are struggling with pregnancy, may be given pills containing hormone A as a treatment, because we are saying, one, the point is that one, follicle stimulating hormone will stimulate follicles to develop, will stimulate the development of follicles, will stimulate the development of follicles, and then also will increase the chances, which will increase the chances of what, which obviously we will say, therefore an ovum will be produced, increasing the chances of what, of falling pregnancy. And hence, an ovum will be formed, increasing chances of pregnancy. So the point is that they are given follicle stimulating hormone to stimulate the development of follicles, and hence an ovum can form, which will be increasing the chance of what? Chance of pregnancy. That is the reason of that one. That is the reason of that. And then the next question B is saying, explain why the female who are struggling with pregnant will have a levels of hormone B constantly monitored. The concentration or the continuous monitoring of hormone B, why are we constantly monitoring this one? It is because that to identify the peak levels of what, of the luteinizing hormone, which will indicate their chance of ovulation, or when ovulation will take place, and then that would also affect their fertilization. That is B. We are saying our question B here, to identify uh, their peak times of LH, which we are saying of, to identify their peak times of LH, hence ovulation will be about to happen. Will be about to happen when ovulation takes place there. We are saying to identify their peak times of LH hormone, hence ovulation will be about to happen, and more chances of pregnancy. And more chances for fertilization. More chances for fertilization will be seen. That is the reason there. And then question 2.1, 2.3.3, explain how the levels of hormone A, on days 0 to 5 will differ in a pregnant female. Explain how the levels of hormone A on days 0 to 5 will differ in a pregnant female. 0 to 5, hormone A will differ from, we said it's a follicle stimulating hormone A. That is hormone A, this one. Hormone A, this one class. So the question is saying, explain how the levels of hormone A on day 0 to 5 will differ in a pregnant female. So in a pregnant female, what would happen there? Actually, the levels will remain low because the high progesterone levels during pregnancy will inhibit the secretion of hormone A, as you can see there. So we are saying the levels of hormone A, let's say just say the levels will remain low. Basically, the levels will remain low. Levels will remain low because it will remain low because the high progesterone levels high progesterone levels during pregnancy. The high progesterone levels during pregnancy will inhibit the secretion of hormone A. Will inhibit the secretion of hormone A. So how does it differ in a pregnant woman? We are saying the levels will remain low because the high progesterone levels during pregnancy will inhibit the secretion of hormone A, which we are saying that the hormone A is what is the which we are saying that it will remain low. It will remain low because they won't be follicle stimulating hormone that will be secreted during pregnancy. So hormone A, which we are saying the follicle stimulating hormone won't be secreted during pregnancy anyway. Hence, it will remain low, which is hormone A that we are talking about. You understand? That is what we are referring to, or that is what happens in this case. Last question 2. Let's see question 2.4. 2.4. 2.4, it says describe the secretion of ovarian hormones and their role in the menstrual cycle. 2.4, describe the secretion of the ovarian hormones and their role in the menstrual cycle. 1, the graphene follicle secretes proestrogen. The graphene graphene follicle the graphene follicle secretes oestrogen. It secretes oestrogen, which actually causes the endometrium to become thicker. The endometrium to become thicker, which we are saying to become thicker or more vascular. We can say become thicker or more vascular. Or more vascular. Therefore, the corpus luteum secretes progesterone. The corpus luteum secretes progesterone. It secretes progesterone, which increases the thickness of the endometrium, which further increases the thickening, of the endometrium, that is quite correct to say. And then obviously, and finally, high levels of progesterone it inhibits the secretion of follicle stimulating hormone. Inhibit the secretion of follicle stimulating hormone. That is how this ovarian hormones works. We are just supposed to look at these hormones in this nutshell. So that is exactly what you need to talk about in 2.4. The secretion of the ovarian hormones and their role in menstrual cycle. The graphene follicle secretes oestrogen, which causes the endometrium to become what? Which causes the endometrium to become thicker or more vascular. And again, there is the corpus luteum, which secretes progesterone, which further increases the what? Increases the thickening of the endometrium. And finally, high levels of progesterone inhibits secretion of what? Of follicle stimulating hormone. So that is what happens there. That is what happens in that respect. 2.5. Let's quickly just answer this one. It's read the extract below. It's a type of fish found in a Pacific Ocean during breeding season. The female and the male gather the large groups and release ovum and semen into the water. Once fertilized, the eggs float in the water and embryonic development occurs until hatching. That is during the breeding season. Around the female releases thousands of ovum and male releases semen all over the female. The fertilized eggs are attached to vegetation near the riverbed and where the embryonic development occurs until hatching. So, yes, the survival rate of the embryos over a period of 50 years. So the graph X and graph X and graph what? Graph X and Y. So the question is saying, name the type of fertilization that takes place in both fish species. I'm sure that we should always note that fish, in fish, we always talk about what? Fish, there is always external fertilization class. In fish, there is always external fertilization. External fertilization always takes place in fish. External fertilization. And then explain why both fish species are oviparous. Why both fish are oviparous. The oviparous because their embryos develop inside the eggs that are outside the body of the female. Because their embryos what develop inside eggs. They develop inside eggs. Inside eggs that are outside that are outside the body of the female. I'm sure you know the characteristics of oviparous. The embryos develop inside the eggs that are outside the body of the female. That is why we call them oviparous. That is why we call them oviparous here. And then describe, the next question is saying, describe two ways in which the chances of fertilization are increased in the northern spikefish. If you can read in the passage there, we can see that there is what? You can read that inside the passage, the northern fish, one, you can see that the male release semen around or around the female. The male releases semen, the male release semen all around the female. That is one other way in which the chance of fertilization are improved there. And then a large number of gametes are produced. So I was saying the male release semen all over around the female. And then we also have to understand that there is a large number of gametes that are produced again. The female releases thousands of ovum. The female releases thousands of ovum there. So we are saying the points are given in the question there that those are the answers. The male release. Let me just erase and write these answers here. The male releases what? Semen all around the female. And then also the second one is that secondly, we are saying again that large number of gametes are produced as well. Number of ovules are produced. Large number of ovules are produced from the female there, as I have marked from the what from the passage. And then let's have the which graph represent the survival rate of the northern spikefish. The survival of the northern spikefish, which graph represent the survival of the northern spikefish. We are saying graph X and Y. We have got which has got a better survival is X, where therefore we can say it is graph what? It is graph X. It is graph X. It is graph X. And then next question is saying it's we are saying graph X. So which is what to say that explain your answer, because we are seeing what a better survival chance is compared to what we are referring to. So in that regard, we can understand that the graph X, because of what they've got higher survival or high number of surviving graph X. Reason, don't forget here to write that it's graph X, ne? And then the reason on this case is that they will have a high number of surviving embryos. You have a high number of surviving embryos, ne? Because of the fertilized, because they are fertilized eggs, because they are fertilized eggs attached to the vegetation, because they are fertilized eggs attaching to the vegetation. They are attached to the vegetation where they are protected from predators. Where they are protected from predators and are being washed away. So that is the reason that we are saying the various reasons in regard to this one. Graph X is the one that represents northern speech spike, because they have got a high number of surviving embryos, because their fertilized eggs attached to what? To the vegetation, according to our essay there. And then where they are protected from predators and what? And being washed away by what? By the rainwater or by the waters and stuff. So those are the reasons with regard to that. And then 2.6, the diagram below shows the homeostatic control of blood glucose levels. It shows the homeostatic control of blood glucose levels. And then identify, we have got high glucose levels, we have got gland A, we have got hormone B, and then low glucose level, gland A, and so forth, liver and body cells. So identify gland A. Gland A, it is obviously the what? We can say it is the pancreas. It is the pancreas. We can as well maybe give to say in the pancreas there are specialized cells, which is the what? The isolates. The isolates of lung organs. You can as well say that. And then you can say hormone C, which is low blood glucose level, gland A, and then hormone C, then to liver. So we are saying what is that? It is what? It is it is what? It is the glucagon. It is glucagon. It is glucagon. I'm sure I remember I gave you this the relationship of let's say blood sugar level to say glucose and what? And glycogen. So we are saying in terms of here it increases, and then we are saying increase it what? Sorry, when it is to, let's say here glucose to glycogen, it has to be converted by what? By insulin. Insulin, so therefore it decreases the sugar, the glucose level, and then when it comes back to from there to glycogen to glucose, it is glucagon. It is glucagon, which we are saying that glucagon, what does it do? Glucagon, it actually increases the glucose level in the sugar in the blood. Glucagon. So we are saying in this case it increases glucose, and then this side it what? It decreases. So this is one thing that you should understand to say that this diagram, it needs to be known that when we are talking about the increase and decrease of blood sugar, it is to do with the insulin and the what? And the glucagon. Insulin, it actually decreases the glucose by converting it into glycogen, and then the glucagon, it deact or it actually converts the glycogen into glucose, therefore increasing the glucose level in the body. So that is what we need to understand with that reference. 2.6.2, a certain disorder causes decreased production of hormone B. What is that disorder that causes this? A certain disorder causes decreased production of hormone B. Disorder causes decrease of hormone B, which is given there. And then the question is saying, explain how this will affect the blood glucose level. Explain that how this will affect the blood glucose level. So 2.6 point what? Point 2a, the blood glucose level will remain high, obviously. Blood glucose level will remain high, it will remain high because the cells will not be able to absorb glucose from the blood. High because the cells will not be able to absorb glucose from the blood. And then in that respect, you should understand that excess glucose excess glucose cannot be converted to glycogen by liver or muscles. Excess glucose cannot cannot be converted to glycogen by liver or muscles. They cannot be able to be converted to glycogen by liver and muscles alone. They cannot convert the excess glucose into what? Into glycogen. That is one thing that happens there. Name this disorder is diabetes mellitus. This is diabetes. This is diabetes mellitus. This is diabetes mellitus. That is the disorder that is caused by this. And then scientists have been investigating the use of adrenaline as a treatment for people who cannot produce hormone C. Explain why this treatment may work. Who cannot produce hormone C? Who cannot produce hormone C? So, which we said that is glucagon. And then explain hormone C, we said is glucagon. So explain why this treatment may work. Adrenaline may stimulate the liver to convert glycogen. The thing is that we need to understand that adrenaline stimulates the liver. It stimulates the liver. It stimulates the liver to convert glycogen which we are saying glycogen to glucose, to increase the to increase blood glucose level. So adrenaline will stimulate the liver to convert glycogen into glucose to increase the blood glucose levels. That is how it's gonna work. That is how it's gonna work in regard to this experiment that is to be done by these scientists here. You understand? So that is actually what is gonna happen there. Let's just quickly answer this one. Identify part A. Part A, it is the corpus callosum. Part A, it is the corpus callosum, and then is the corpus callosum. Explain why a person may die if part C is damaged. If part C is damaged, obviously we are saying why a person can die. It controls vital processes. A person can die because if part T is damaged because it controls vital processes. It controls vital processes. It controls vital processes, heartbeat and such, e.g. heartbeat, breathing. It controls vital processes such which will stop when it is damaged. Which will stop if it is damaged. So a person may die If part C is damaged because it controls vital processes such as heartbeat, it controls heartbeat, it controls breathing, which we are saying a person can die, which if ever those are not what, which can make a person to die if those are stop heartbeat or breathing, which will stop if damaged. If part C is damaged, then the person can die. Part B is damaged in a person's lower back. Identify part B. Identify part B. We are saying part B is the spinal cord. Part B is the spinal cord. Is the spinal cord there? Is answered spinal cord, and then explain why the person will have no control of the skeletal muscles of the leg. Explain why the person will have no control of the skeletal muscle of the leg. The impulses from the cerebrum actually are transmitted to the skeletal muscles, which is the part, the impulses from the cerebrum are not transmitted to the skeletal muscles, are not transmitted to the skeletal muscles, are not transmitted to the skeletal muscles. That is the question. That's the answer on what? On part B. Explain why the person will not have control, will have no control of the skeletal muscle, because the impulses from the cerebrum are not transmitted. They are not transmitted to the skeletal muscles. That's with the reason. And then we have got a diagram which is showing which region is the smallest number of severe brain injury. Which region has got the smallest number of severe brain injury? We are saying number of severe brain injuries are given there, and then the regions of the world. So we just look on the smallest one. It is Africa, which is given there. Which region has the smallest? It is what? Here is Africa. And then explain why this data may not be accurate for the region named in this regard. It is not correct because not all injuries are recorded due to poor health facilities. Not all brain injuries are recorded due to poor health facilities. And then next question, draw a bar graph to represent the data on the table above. The diagram to represent the data on the table above. You see this diagram, it just needs us to say a bar graph. It always supposed to have a title. The bar graph must have the title, the number of brain injuries in different regions of the world. That's the title. Title. Number of brain injuries in the world, in different regions of the world, injuries in different regions of the world. That is the title. And then we need to know that we are going to have injuries per 100,000 people should be on the vertical axis. We have got to say this is our vertical axis and say injuries per 100,000 people, injuries per 100,000 people, and then we can just choose our scale from the set of data. It's 800, which is we can say we have to give our diagram there. So what I'm saying is we have got to draw to say choose a scale which we can choose. We can choose a scale of maybe I can choose a scale of 400, say 400, 800, 1,200, and then 1,600. Just a rough scale that I'm using here. And then I can say that let's just start by Latin America. It has got 900. Latin America has got 900. So I can just draw a bar graph here, which can be just slightly above there. Say 900 there. And say this is Latin America. It has got 900 there. That is shown there. And then we have got United States and Canada is 1,000. United States and Canada is 1,300. United States and Canada is 1,300. So I can just draw my graph there. Remember that you are drawing this graph with a ruler. You are using a ruler to draw straight bars also. It's 1,300. 1,300, which we are going to say United States and Canada. United States and Canada. You also just show there it's 1,300, and then we have got East Mediterranean. It's got the next graph is what? The East Mediterranean is 890. East Mediterranean is 890. So it can be there. 890. And then I as well mark them like that. And I can indicate to say East Mediterranean and then the next one is what? The next one is Europe 1010. Europe 1010. 1010 is something just somewhere up on top of that. 1010. I can say 10 there. So I would say also this is what Europe. And then lastly, I have got Africa 800. Africa is 800. Doesn't matter there. It's 800. And then it's what? It's Africa. And then with this now, don't forget again to say these are what are regions. You just don't forget to say that these are what regions of the world in this regard. We have got our regions of the world. Regions of the world. We have them like that. This is our graph. So one thing that is very important in class is that your graph must always have a proper scale. Now I choose a scale of 400, 800, but the scale you can choose it according to the set of data that you have. And then you need to make sure that your graph becomes presentable. I mean, it becomes standard, not too small, not too big. It must be visible enough again. So as you can see this is a proper visible graph there. So that is what I'm saying. Hence, it is what is a proper visible graph, and then you get your marks. And then don't forget to label the bars by giving the readings of each of the bars there. Is 900, 1300, 890, and then there is a title number of brain injuries in different regions of the world. That is the title there. And then you have the vertical axis labeled and the horizontal axis labeled. Here are the regions of the world, and then it is labeled. So if you have done this, you will never lose any marks. You will get everything clear and smart. That is what you should do. So get this right. Don't forget to put the readings on top of the bars there. So here's the next question, 3.3. Next question, 3.3 is saying uh, it needs you to identify party C. Party C, this is the Cochley. Is the Cochley there? That is Cochley there. And then state function of party D. Party D, party D, as you can see, it is actually party D there. Party D, I can just write it here below it that it absorbs excess pressure. It actually absorbs excess pressure waves or releases pressure waves from the what? From the inner ear, or it prevents an echo. Party D prevents echo. It prevents echo. 1, 2. It also absorbs excess pressure waves. Absorbs excess pressure waves. And then we can also say that it also releases pressure from the what? From the inner ear. It releases pressure from the inner ear also. That's what it is. Well, that's the functions there. That's the functions. And then that is party D. Party D is labeled on the map, on the diagram there. And then the receptor found in C state what is the function, state the function of the receptor found in C. It is actually convert the pressure waves into impulses. It converts pressure waves into, it converts the pressure waves, it actually converts the pressure waves into impulses. That is the party C. Explain why a build-up of wax in party A may result in temporary hearing loss. Why the build-up of wax in part A may result in temporary hearing loss. Number 3.31, 3.333. The tympanic membrane will not be able to vibrate freely. That is the reason. The tympanic membrane will not be able to vibrate freely. That is the reason there. So therefore we are saying no or less vibrations are carried to are carried to the middle ear. Are carried to the middle ear. That is one other thing that is happening there. And then 3.4, a grommet is a small device that allows the air to move into and out of the middle ear. This prevents pressure built up in the middle ear. That is true. Explain how the use of grommet in the treatment of middle ear infection prevents hearing loss. Just say 3.3.4. In this case, you should make sure that you narrate that the middle ear infection, middle ear infection causes fluid built up in the what? Causes it causes fluid built up in the middle ear. It causes fluid to build up in the middle ear, which can block the eustachian tube, which can block the eustachian tube, which can block the eustachian tube. The grommet will release the pressure that will build up in the middle ear. Will release the pressure that will build up in the middle ear. It will release the pressure that will build up in the middle ear, which we are saying that when that pressure that will build up in the middle ear and drain the fluid from the middle ear, or it drains the fluid in the middle ear. It will drain the fluid in the middle ear. Um, Therefore, the pressure on either side of the what of the tympanic membrane is what is equalized, enabling pressure on either side of the tympanic membrane to be balanced or equalized. In that regard, this or that this prevents the what? It actually prevents the tympanic membrane from rupturing, prevents the tympanic membrane from rupturing. It will prevent the tympanic membrane from rupturing, uh, and also allowing the oscus to vibrate freely. So that is actually how the grommet works there. That is allowing the oscus to vibrate freely. That is how the grommet works. That's how the grommet works there. Question 3.5. Question 3.5 saying describe how a receptor in part B can are involved in maintaining balance when there are changes in the speed and direction of the movement of the head. You see, this question is quite common and is quite repetitive. I'm just going to answer it below here. Just check here 3.5. Question 3.5. We are saying question 3.3.5, the issue to do with the change, saying receptors in part B are involved in maintaining balance when there is maintenance of balance when there is changes in speed and direction of the movement of head. Maintenance is maintenance of balance when there is change in speed, when there is change in speed and direction of movement of the head, change in speed and direction of movement of the head. So there we go. We are saying what happens when in order for that to happen, maintenance of balance when there is change in speed and direction of movement of the head. What happens? We are saying one, uh, the cristae are stimulated. The cristae are stimulated and convert the stimulus into impulse. Into impulse. The impulses are sent via the auditory nerve They are sent via the auditory nerve to the cerebellum, which we are saying, which interprets the information which we are saying the interprets the information how the interpret which interprets the information and what and send impulse to the skeletal muscles, interpret the information and interpret the information and send impulses to skeletal muscles to restore the balance. So the crystal are stimulated and convert the stimuli into impulses. And the impulses are sent via the auditory nerve to the cerebellum, which interprets the information. They interpret the information and send impulses to the skeletal muscles to restore the balance. That is one thing that you are supposed to understand. So in this question, there are key things that you should mention. The Christie, you are mentioning the issues of saying converting the stimuli into the impulse, and then they are sending them via the auditory nerve and also to the cerebellum, and then the impulses are sent to the skeletal muscles, which are also to restore the balance, and therefore we are saying it is done with that in that respect. Then it is done. So please take note of this, and then you will not miss anything when it comes to that question of what the the maintenance of balance when there is change in speed and direction of the movement of the head, whatever way that they are going to ask you in that question, note that you will not miss anything there. Let me just go to the last question. I'm sure the last part of this question. Wearing face mask is recommended to reduce the spread of coronavirus. There are some concerns about the efficiency of breathing when wearing a face mask. That is very true. We can see all these circumstances that are given or conditions that are given there. And then the question is asking, we need to identify the way is the question wants us to say, identify the independent and dependent variable. I said that you cannot go to exams without understanding how to identify a dependent and independent variable. So in this case, we are saying, investigated the effect of wearing here in scientists. Our question comes from this party. Scientists investigated the effect of wearing face masks on carbon dioxide levels in the blood. That is where we get the independent and dependent variable. So what we are saying is that wearing of face mask will affect the carbon dioxide level in the blood. So the question is saying identify the independent variable. The independent variable, it is what? It is the wearing of face mask. Wearing of face mask is the independent variable. Wearing face mask is the independent variable, and then the dependent is what? It's carbon dioxide level. Carbon dioxide level in the blood. Carbon dioxide level in the blood, it actually affects what? the amount of, the wearing of face mask affecting it affects the carbon dioxide level in the blood. So independent is to say that the wearing of face mask, it does not do anything, but what is being affected is the carbon dioxide level in the blood. Carbon dioxide level in the blood is affected by the wearing of face mask. So the independent is the one that has nothing to be affected, which is the wearing of the face mask, and then the dependent is the carbon dioxide level. So I was always saying that where the statement says an investigation was set up to do 1, 2, 3, where we said the investigation was set wearing of the face mask on, which is on, it means it is the one that depends on the independent. So the first part, which is the first identified variable, is the independent, and then the second one is dependent. So wearing of face mask is independent, and then it is affecting carbon dioxide levels. Question 3.4.2. State one factor that were taken into consideration in the selection of the participants. We talked about this. I've already shown you that in this question 2.34, we are looking at the age. It is identified in the case that they looked at the age of the age of the participants, age of the participants, age of the participants, and then two, they also looked at the health of the individuals. Health of the individuals was also considered as number 2, as another factor that was considered when choosing these participants there. And then the other question is, give one reason why the results at the end of this investigation may be considered reliable. We are talking about this to say, how can we say the results were reliable? Obtained permission from 150 volunteers aged 30 years to participate in applied a sensor to participate to the participants' skin to make sure carbon dioxide level is in the blood, and ask the participants and all this. So we are saying a large sample size of volunteers was used. A large sample, large sample size of 150 volunteers was used. And then give a reason why the carbon dioxide level were measured. Well, next question, give a reason why the carbon dioxide level were measured while participants were still sitting. This was done actually to allow carbon dioxide levels in the blood to go back to normal, so that each phase will have to have the same carbon dioxide level at the starting point. Question 2, to allow carbon dioxide level dioxide level in the levels in the blood to go back to normal. To go back to normal. To go back to normal, so that each phase have the same carbon dioxide level as starting point, so that each phase has the same carbon dioxide, have the same carbon dioxide level as starting point, same carbon dioxide as starting point, have the same carbon dioxide level as starting point. That is the reason to allow carbon dioxide levels in the blood to go back to normal, so that each phase has the same carbon dioxide level, same carbon dioxide as starting point. That is it. So the last question, 3.4.6. Uh, the last part describe. Okay, the last part is saying, the last part is uh, the last part. Okay, give a reason why carbon dioxide level were measured while the participants were still sitting. We said so, and then describe the homeostatic control of carbon dioxide when it is high in the body. I'm saying it has been also answered on the channel again. Let's just refer to that one to say homeostatic control of carbon dioxide level in the body. It is answered on the channel again on notes. So, class, thank you so much for your time. And then I'm sure that you are going to get this quite interesting, and you get this quite interesting, and you enjoy the whole answers that, or the whole discussion that has been discussed here. And I wish you all the best. Thank you so much for your time, and all the best. I'm sure that you get everything good and smart. All the best. Keep connected, and don't forget to like the work, so that we can continue and enjoy every bit of posting that is coming. Remember, I told you that we are going to revise every piece of the previous papers that are currently. So therefore, we go and pass all these things. So just keep looking forward for this. All the best, and have a beautiful day. Thank you.